The national television schedule, it's been released for the 2025 W season. There are 175 games you can catch on national TV and on streaming.
Say to yourself, damn, what is going on here?
This is bad. This is very, very bad.
Caitlin Clark is clearly a catalyst for a business that was, and let's be honest, Caitlin to some degree financially saved the WNBA. It was hemorrhaging money for years.
Well, what I do realize is that as of right now, no other Chicago Sky game have been moved to the United Center, except for one, Indiana Fever.
Speaking of United Center, it'll also play host to a pair of WNBA games for the first time this season. The Sky announcing their matchups, hosting the Indiana Fever. Will be moved from Wintrust to the UC, has about double the capacity, so more tickets available to watch Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is undeniably a game changer for the WNBA, but why do some players seem so cold towards her? Her potential to elevate women's sports is unmatched, making any animosity towards her seem confusing. In this video, we'll explore how Caitlin Clark is exposing the WNBA and why her journey is so captivating. Let's dive in. The spotlight on female athletes in team sports is brighter than ever, and Caitlin Clark is right at the center of it all. Her extraordinary talent and captivating presence have the power to elevate basketball and women's sports to a level we've never seen before. But this intense spotlight isn't just focused on Clark. It's also shining on the players who came before her. While many of these trailblazers stand to gain from Clark's growing prominence, some seem to be struggling with it. Take, for example, the Indiana Fever's thrilling 78-73 victory over the Los Angeles Sparks, marking their first win of the 2024 WNBA season. But this game wasn't just notable for the Fever's success. It also marked Caitlin Clark's first-ever career win in the WNBA. After the game, Clark shared a moment of reflection about her journey. The spotlight had been overwhelming and the pressure intense. She admitted, "I feel like I talk to the media more than I talk to my own family." It's a glimpse into the reality of the challenges that come with the massive attention she's receiving. And why not? After leading Iowa to its second consecutive NCAA final, Caitlin Clark had shattered records and delivered viewership numbers that exceeded even men's games for the first time in NCAA history. Naturally, some of the biggest names in women's basketball couldn't ignore her meteoric rise. But when Breanna Stewart, one of the game's greatest players, was asked whether Caitlin Clark needed a championship to be considered among the greats in women's college basketball, her response raised some eyebrows. Stewart, a four-time NCAA champion and two-time WNBA champion, answered quickly, "Yeah, she does need a championship." It seemed a bit dismissive considering Clark had already rewritten the record books, becoming the all-time leading scorer in NCAA Division I basketball history, male or female. But Stewart's answer suggested that Clark's accomplishments might not be enough without the ultimate prize, a national championship. This stance raised questions. Was this comment really about the championship? Or was it a subtle attempt to downplay Clark's achievements in favor of legacy and tradition, particularly Stewart's own UConn legacy? Let's be real. Stewart had the benefit of playing on a stacked UConn team, while Clark led Iowa with a team that wasn't as star-studded, yet still managed to achieve incredible success. Was Stewart's opinion rooted in genuine analysis, or was it a reflection of discomfort with a new star rising so quickly? It wasn't just Stewart who had opinions about Clark's impact. Diana Taurasi, a WNBA legend and the face of the Phoenix Mercury, also made headlines for her comments. When asked during an ESPN interview who she would pick to start a WNBA team between Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers, Taurasi's answer was blunt. "There are levels to this thing. You look superhuman playing against 18-year-olds, but you're going to come up against some grown women who've been playing professional basketball for a long time." Now, Taurasi is no stranger to being brash, and her competitive nature is well known. But even though it came off as a reality check, it felt like a challenge to Clark's newfound dominance. Taurasi's words seemed to downplay the pressure Clark had faced leading Iowa to incredible heights, without a UConn-like roster of future pros. However, as much as Taurasi may want to remind Clark of the levels she will face in the WNBA, the reality is that Caitlin Clark is already challenging the status quo. Clark's rise has brought millions of new fans to women's basketball.
Chicago Sky have had to move 2 of their home games to a larger facility, a larger basketball facility.
Fans who may not be as familiar with Taurasi's legendary status. It's becoming clear that even though some veterans may feel threatened by the new wave of talent, they can't ignore Clark's undeniable influence on the league. Throughout her young career, Caitlin Clark has always expressed immense gratitude to the women who paved the way for her and all the future athletes she's now inspiring. She often speaks about the women who have been role models for her and other young girls in sports. Even when she made her recent Saturday Night Live appearance, Clark was sure to recognize the contributions of those who came before her, showing her respect for the legacy of women's basketball.
I'm sure, no doubt, this is the Angel Reese effect. I've got no doubts, no qualms. There's nothing. She even told me herself right here that it's not just one.
And as the demand for Clark to join Team USA this summer for the Olympics grows, it's clear that she's already one of the world's best players. Lisa Leslie, a 3-time WNBA MVP and 4-time Olympic gold medalist, emphasized on ESPN, "She better be on the Olympic team. We should not leave the country without her." There's no doubt Clark is already a force on the court, and it seems impossible to imagine an Olympic team without her. However, if Clark is not selected for the Olympic team, questions will arise about whether jealousy or animosity has played a role in her exclusion. The conversation will likely echo the treatment of rookies in men's sports, raising the question of whether older players' attitudes towards younger ones are simply a norm in professional sports, women's sports included. Does this reflect a deeper issue of progress in women's sports, where jealousy or rivalry still hinders the recognition of new talent? It's a fascinating question that raises even bigger issues about the state of women's sports. While women's sports have come a long way, there are still clear disparities in pay, sponsorships, media coverage, and overall attention compared to men's sports. Despite all the progress made, there's still a long road ahead. And with Caitlin Clark now leading the charge, she is shining a much-needed spotlight on these inequities. As we look forward, it's clear that Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise has changed the game for women's basketball. Teams in the WNBA are already aware of her star power. Just recently, the Las Vegas Aces moved their July 2nd home game against Indiana from a 12,000-seat arena to a 20,000-seat venue, before Clark had even been drafted by the Indiana Fever. In addition, the Phoenix Mercury, Taurasi's team, sparked social media buzz when they teased a game against Indiana, calling it the GOAT versus the Rook, and posting silhouettes of players wearing number 22, a nod to Clark. Even Taurasi's team realizes that Caitlin Clark is the future of the sport, whether she's playing against them or not. Caitlin Clark's rise is not just a win for her. It's a win for women's basketball and the WNBA as a whole. Her talent is undeniable, and it's clear that the league is ready for a new era. But what do you think? How do you believe Caitlin Clark is exposing the WNBA, and what impact do you think she'll continue to have on the league's landscape? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below, like this video if you enjoyed it, and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to NBA Swish for more incredible videos just like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.